Well, my name is Santiago Brand, and I'm a clinical and sports psychologist with 16 years of experience in the area of neuroscience. I specialize in something called QEEG brain mapping, also techniques for an intervention called neurofeedback and biofeedback. And I've been brain spotting practitioner for, let's see, about 8 years now. Yeah, I think so. In 2016, I think that's when I did my first training. Time flies. So I did my first training with Pi Fry in the US, and then with David Grant himself. And one of my interests is the sequelae of trauma in the brain and what it looks like on a brain map, and also the relationship that exists in the attunement between the brain spotter and the clinician, or the brain spotter and the client, but more so from a brain perspective. So my interest is to see how the brain of the clinician and the patient sync up, and what kind of change takes place as a consequence of this electrical, chemical, physiological relationship between two brains. And further down, my hope is to study this under different brain spotting modalities, different setups and different modalities, to see whether the same kind of brain synchronization takes place, and whether one setup would be superior to the other, for lack of a better term, or maybe more profound for specific types of populations. It's a really good webinar, because mainly what we want to present is the evidence for, number one, what trauma is and how it manifests at the level of the psychophysiology, meaning what's the impact in the psychological makeup of an individual, but also how it affects his or her physiology. And that's how it affects brain waves and how it's related to neuroinflammation. So how trauma can trigger this cascade of psychophysiological responses that can end up impacting the individual's mental and physical health down the road. And we focus on trauma at the core, but we want to see what is the electrical aftermath, meaning what happens in the brain, what happens in the psychophysiology. And ultimately, we want to talk about heart rate variability, which is a biofeedback modality, which helps to assess how trauma impacts the heart, and how we can, through specific exercises, breathing exercises and relaxation exercises, how we can optimize this process we call heart rate variability to strengthen the individual's resilience. And we strengthen the resilience at the physical level, but also at the psychological, spiritual level, if you will. The heart rate variability is a very powerful intervention, it's very simple to implement, it's cost-effective, and it has many years of evidence supporting its efficacy. And I like it because it's an intervention that you can combine with psychotherapy, it's an intervention that you can combine in hypnosis, is an intervention that you can combine in yoga, and certainly is an intervention that you can combine with brain spotting. And what I like about heart rate variability is that it uses very simple technology, but the technology helps evidence the changes that take place. And as a matter of fact, I've done some recordings, some measurements where I have done brain spotting, and I look at the brain, at the brainwave patterns, but also the heart rate variability patterns of an individual. And we can understand, again, the impact that trauma has on somebody, and how we can better understand its impact, and how we can intervene more successfully and also more powerfully, and I would say more deeply. We start with some theory. We want to start with some theory in the foundational components of the trauma response. We tie that into how trauma affects the brain, then how it affects heart rate variability. And yes, we will be doing some exercises. Everybody can participate from their comfort of their home or their office. and we will be taking some measurements, and I will be explaining how variability works, how it is implemented, and then how it can be combined with neurofeedback and biofeedback and brain spotting, of course. Now, I will also be showing some EEGs and some brain maps of people before they did heart rate variability and after they did heart rate variability, and we can evidence how it positively impacts the brain. Heart rate variability also has an impact on many of the brain regions that brain spotting, or where brain spotting has an impact: the limbic system, the cortex, the negative effect network, the default mode network. So I will be explaining what these networks are, the role they play in the brain, and how variability biofeedback plus brain spotting can impact this more positively. Well, you can be a beginner practitioner in brain spotting, or you can be a seasoned brain spotting practitioner. It doesn't matter, because I really, when I put together this kind of events, I like to put it for all levels of expertise, all levels of experience. So the idea is that everybody, regardless of whether they're new or they've been doing this for quite some time, can learn something new. So we will be reviewing some of the recent research. I will be talking on neuroinflammation, which I think is a very important topic for brain spotters, therapists, mental health practitioners to learn about: how trauma impacts our glia cells in the brain, and how the glia cells, when they get primed, they create inflammation, how the inflammation can create neurodegeneration, and how the neurodegeneration plays a role into the sustainability of the trauma response, the severity of the trauma response, and how it can make it difficult for an individual to move forward in spite of being engaged in some form of intervention. And so again, it's for everyone. It doesn't matter your level of experience. If you're new to brain spotting, you've just taken your phase 1, phase 2 brain spotting class, or you just recently took your phase 3 brain spotting workshop, you can attend. If you've been doing this for quite some time, you can attend, because it's for everyone. And again, the idea is to learn to integrate the technology, to learn with scans and looking at the latest research, how this impacts the brain, how it impacts the body, and how we can combine and fuse these interventions for the empowerment of our clients and patients. If you're not a brain spotting practitioner, but you're a mental health counselor, you're a psychologist, or you are an addictions therapist, you can benefit from this, because heart rate variability in the end ties into any intervention. It can be combined with hypnosis, it can be combined with EMDR, it can be combined with brain spotting, it can be used in psychotherapy. Even if you're not a clinician yourself, but you're interested in peak performance, because heart rate variability can also be used to optimize performance. So we're really, what we're going to be talking about is optimizing the mental health, the physical health, and the general well-being of the populations that we work with, whether it's somebody with severe trauma, or somebody with depression, or somebody with anxiety, or somebody who simply wishes to optimize their performance and get the edge on their competition, or just simply be a better person overall. Well, first of all, they will understand. I hope that they will get a deeper understanding of the psychophysiological components and the psychophysiological loop of the trauma response. Also be more informed, or better informed, or more deeply informed about neuroinflammation and why neuroinflammation is more important. It's really important to look at it, to assess. And I will be talking about technological options, about the gadgets that you can purchase to implement heart rate variability with your brain spotting or whatever intervention you use. So I will be presenting some options, talking about different prices and the pros and cons of different gadgets. The good news is that heart rate variability is really cost effective. You can implement good heart rate variability with $300 US. You can buy a gadget, a wearable, that is reliable, that will feed you really good data, and that you can use every day. The technology for heart rate variability is non-invasive. and therefore it again adds to that layer of empowerment that brain spotting provides. Because whoever takes the workshop can use heart rate variability only for assessments, only for research, or for intervention, or a combination of all three. If you're into research, but you also do some clinical hours and you want to use them for intervention to collect data to publish, then it can be used quite effectively. So able to see how it works and get an initial understanding of how it works and how to use the gadgets. And if after the workshop people want to pursue certification, they can contact me. I can point them in the right direction, because just like you get certified in brain spotting or EMDR or neurofeedback or biofeedback, you can also get board certified with heart rate variability. And if you want that credential to be added to your already existing arsenal of tools, well, why not? It's a really good idea. I think that the greatest added value for people, again, is to be able to see the data, the brain scans, and see how the gadgets work in real time, and see the impact that this may have. It's a combination, and also it's different. It sets itself apart because it's a combination of the theory but also the practice. So you won't be sitting there all day in front of the computer just hearing me ramble and talk. You'll have the chance to participate into specific exercises that you can learn then to go implement with your own populations. And it's different because it will show the data, it will use technology, it will be applied practice. And therefore, I think it's the ideal learning experience for whoever wants to participate. I just want to invite everybody to participate. It's a really good opportunity. You can Google, YouTube my name, and get some idea on my limited knowledge, but also my body of experience working in neuroscience, in brain spotting, with heart rate variability as well. But I think it's a good opportunity for you to learn to not only learn new information from the theoretical concept, but also learn some applied work that might be beneficial for yourself personally, and also for your patients. So again, just invite you to register, to participate and partake, because it's going to be a very interesting day with new information, with fun activities, and it will be worth your while, I hope. Thank you, Brain Spotting Slovenia, for the invitation. I know we've been working on this project for quite some time, so I'm quite thrilled to be able to teach this. Remember, it will be March 16. It will be online, so you can be at home sipping some tea, sipping some coffee. You don't have to dress up for the office. You can be quite comfortable and learning and taking breaks. So I hope to see everyone there very soon.